Hello, boosted? Okay. Here's the thing. Your idle air control valve right there, clearly. The connector is green. Your coolant temp sensor. This is the cold start injector time switch, closest to me. The next one is green, is your coolant temp sensor. I doubt you would miss that because they're right next to each other. And your VSV on the valve cover is green. That goes into the blue VSV. Not quite sure. The coolant temp sensor one looks to be a green wire. The VSV is black wire and then a white wire with black stripe. It appears anyway. It's definitely not like a medium blue like you should. The coolant temp sensor one appears to be either green, light green, or light blue, and white with a black stripe. And the idle air control valve, I just cannot see it. I can just see the connector, which is green. So I hope that helps. Those are the only three other than this connector, the CSI, which I'm sure you have hooked up. And yeah, it's the only other one that I know that's like that runs basically to sensors, or the control valve, or the VSV, which is a vacuum switching valve. Even the AC VSV, it has a different connector. These types are all almost exactly the same, performing different functions, obviously, but they look the same. And then your ignition type components are almost all round. So, including by the igniter, the distributor, even running to the pack, the injector resistor over here. And that, by the way, just for future reference, people know, at least on this model, is the starter relay. So, yeah, I'm at a loss as to whether the idle air control valve connector being disconnected could stop the fuel pump. I don't know. Maybe it needs it to be connected as a part of a complete circuit. I just don't know. So, the coolant temp sensor, I believe I've had it running and disconnected that, and it didn't stop running. So, the only thing that really stopped it from running as far as fuel pump was, when I didn't have the distributor hooked up one time, and then I had the airflow meter unplugged. And anytime that connector is unplugged, this car will not start unless maybe if you bypass the fuel pump through the diagnostic port. So that's it. That's the best I can do for now. I'm kind of in a hurry to get everything wrapped up here tonight, but thought I'd come out and take a look because it just was striking me as odd. There's only 3 connectors that I knew of. I thought the IACV was actually blue, but it's green as well, so they're all green. All have the same type of little shock boot looking rubber thing on the end of it, the connector, just like the injectors. Have that protective thing. On mine, of course, they're all wrapped up. So yeah, that's all I can tell you for now. You need to clarify if your IACV is connected or not, and then if your coolant temp sensor is connected or not. Obviously, the cold start injector time switch is brown, so that's not the connector. And unless you have a turbo, if everything's connected and you have a turbo harness in there and you're trying to hook it up to a 22RE, maybe it's missing something, to the turbocharger or something. I wouldn't know. I've never worked on one, so. Yep. That is pretty much it. And I was going to see, what was I going to say? Yeah, that's odd that you're running 12 volts to that, and since it's backed out of the connector, like you took it apart, I guess, and ran 12 volts to it, I'd put it back together, and if there's nothing plugged into the IACV, then plug it in, and see if that completes the circuit and allows it to start. Maybe it somehow grounds it, I don't know. But I do remember disconnecting my coolant temp sensor and the truck continued to run at one point. So, yep, not sure other than that. I hope that helps. Alright, man.